Okay, welcome guys to our overview of some NLP mindset hacks. So we can use neuro-linguistic programming to update our behavior, update our outlook on life, update our internal and external states so we can control our state. We believe that the state controls the outcome or will determine the outcome, so we need to be able to determine what state we want to be in to get the outcome we're going for. So, ready to hack your mindset with NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming is like a toolkit for your brain, helping you shift from stuck to unstoppable. It's true. It's like the owner's manual of the mind that we weren't really born with. And these group of guys got together and put together how we model excellent behavior, modeling two really important historical figures, Milton Erickson, hypnotherapist, with his conversational hypnotherapy type techniques, with the way he built rapport with people, used what they brought him, and had a conversation with him, and the people would decide to change on their own. And then also modeled Virginia Satir, which is a family therapist counselor who had a way of words and how to ask very detailed questions to get down to reframing beliefs for people really quickly. So we can use chunked up big vague language from Milton Erickson, or we can use chunked down really detailed language from Virginia Satir. So we cover a lot of language patterns in NLP. But we're going to just cover a few major techniques right now in this video. Anchoring positive states, reframing negative thoughts, and a swish pattern to ditch some old habits. Whether you're battling procrastination or building confidence, these techniques can transform your life. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first up, anchoring. This is about creating a trigger for a positive emotional state. So we can think of like Pavlov's dog, but for good vibes. We have learned behavior already that sets off a strategy. It reminds us to do a certain pattern to end in a certain result. And anchors are already out there, but we can actually install them and use them. If you wear jewelry or carry a crystal in your pocket or something like that, true, there is some kind of frequency coming off the stone, but think of it more as an anchor to remind you to be in the emotional state you want to be in. Doesn't it just remind you whenever you see it or you feel it or you touch it to remind you of who you want to be and just act like that person, like being grounded or strong in the moment? So your brain links stimuli to feelings naturally, like a song reminded you of a happy memory. To anchor, intentionally recall a peak moment. So go ahead and close your eyes and vividly relive a time you felt confident, joyful, and powerful. If you can go back to a specific memory and feel what you felt, hear what you heard, and see what you saw in the memory and really get associated with those feelings. Feel it in your body, the warmth, the energy. At the peak, we create an anchor. You can squeeze your fist, you can touch your thumb to your middle finger, or you can say a word like power and repeat it a few times to strengthen it. Now, if you're in a big emotional peak at the time, that charge will be associated with the new trigger. And if we do it strong enough, we can actually override old anchors and collapse those old anchors like we talked about in a previous video. Now, when you need that state before a meeting or workout, fire the anchor and boom, instant mind shift. So you can squeeze your fist, reminding you be in that peak state. You can say the word power or whatever the thing was, whatever the button was that you installed. That's your new happy button. So that's anchoring, okay? Next up, another good NLP technique is reframing. This is simply changing the meaning of a situation to empower you or your perception of the situation. Our thoughts are stories we tell ourselves, and bad ones create bad habits. For example, if you think I failed that presentation, reframe it to I learned what to improve next time. It's all on how we frame the language. It's very important. We determine our world with our definitions, and we define it with our language. And if we define it in not so empowering language, we're going to believe it because the definition of that language is just that. So we can always reframe our language, which will help us reframe our perception. Even if we're not talking about the language, we can always reframe our perception of a situation, of a person, or of a thing. So here's some key questions to ask yourself. To ask, what's another way to see this? What else could this mean? What's the positive intent? What's funny about it? Remember, the world is outside of you. You get to control what's inside of you. Simply by using some of these powerful questions for yourself, you can always see or feel or understand or perceive something in a different way and feel differently about it. Okay, practice on daily annoyances like traffic instead of this sucks, say extra time for my favorite podcast. Or I like to say, maybe I'm just avoiding that wreck that this traffic is keeping me safe from. Over time, reframing rewires the brain for optimism, breaking cycles of negativity, of course. Now, we can speed that up with some real sessions, but do it for yourself and see what happens. Finally, the swish pattern. This visual technique swaps bad habits with good ones fast. It's like editing a mental movie. This is a power one. We call this a generative technique in NLP because we're going from basic behavior and switching to a new identity, because the identity of the new person would never do that old behavior. So it's so easy to get rid of the behavior if you just be the person that behavior doesn't even fit the model of the world of the new person. So you have the ability to do that. Okay, first, identify the habit. Say reaching for junk food when stressed or something like that. Whatever the trigger is out there, there's something that happens and then you decide, believe it or not, to do the next step. Someone says something, you decide to get mad inside. Oh, she makes me so mad. He makes me so mad. Well, nobody makes you do anything. The switches are inside of your head. If they do the thing, you're deciding inside to act a certain way. You get to make a choice at that point. They can still do the thing. So identify the habit. When you're stressed, our example here is you reach for junk food. Create 2 images. The cue image, big, bright picture, seeing yourself, seeing the snack. And the desired image, a small, dim picture of you choosing a healthy option, or actually the person you want to be. Who's the person that even when they're stressed, they don't reach for junk food? They maybe go for a walk and do some breathing exercises or do some tapping. Go do some of these techniques. Maybe you can be that person. Imagine you're that person now, the person you want to be, that even when stress is happening, junk food's just not even part of the equation. Imagine being that person. We take that person, now shrink it down into the corner of your mind's eye image. Okay, this is the new you, this is the old you. And we're going to do a quick swish pattern. Now we swish. Sounds like switch, same premise here. We're switching pictures. The swish is that it happens fast. And your subconscious likes to move quickly. If you slow down, you're going to consciously come in and actually interrupt the pattern, because you're going to start analytically kind of thinking through it and your ego kind of gets in the way. So we'd like to do things quickly, and your subconscious will generalize. And if we can do it 4 or 5 times in a row, then we use what we call the generalization filter of the subconscious, and it will begin to generalize the new reaction. Okay? So we have the old you, the new you down here, the new healthy, positively strong. Who cares about stress? I'm strong. I don't need junk food. That's not even part of my world. I don't even think about that. Okay, and then we do the swish right here. Imagine the cue image, front and center. That's the junk food person. Then whoosh it away to a tiny dot while the desired image explodes into full view, making a swish sound. So we'll take the new you, the old you, and it immediately switch. This guy goes away, boom, disappears, and boom, you're the new you. So if we did it quickly, we'd do it about 5 times minimum. So it would be old you, new you. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, swish, new you. Now I want you to close your eyes, and we're really going to do it. Imagine the old picture comes up and the new you waiting in the sideline. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, swish. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Do it again. Bring up the old picture of you. Bring the new picture of you. 1, 2, 3, swish. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Again, bring up the old picture. Bring up the new picture. 1, 2, 3, swish. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. One more time. Old picture, new picture. 1, 2, 3, swish. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Bring up the old picture if you can. It's most likely grainy and hard to find. Bring up the new picture. Cannot wait to be. 1, 2, 3, swish. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Try in vain to pull up that old picture of you. When you can't pull it up, you know you easily have swished into that new version of you. Okay, back over here. Use it for nail biting, boosting motivation, anything really. The trigger's going to be out there in the world. Use that trigger to fire you into the new you. And knowing that old behavior just falls away because it doesn't match the model of the world of the new you. See, NLP tools are simple but potent. You can start with one today, anchor a positive state during your morning routine. You can wrap it up with some positive states and reframe negatives and switch away old habits for that killer mindset. So reframe, swish, and anchor. See, NLP puts you in the driver's seat of your unconscious, actually. You can try it out and share your wins down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next lesson.